We're less than 50 days out from the calendar year's most spectacular holiday. And before you readily toss yourself into a vat of pumpkin-scented products whilst double-fisting caramel candy apples and pecan pie, we thought we'd warm you up to the fall season with 4 autumnal cozy game recommendations that are perfect for the colder weather and changing leaves. Please make sure to check out the content warnings for each of the mentioned titles, as some deal with grief, loss, and the inevitability of old age. We promise you'll be snug as a bug in a rug while playing, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with deciding a game isn't for you and moving on to the next one. Howdy howdy, Gabe here reading the words of Jess Frost. A recent release that looks like it would fit in with Laika's stop-motion catalog, Gloomy Eyes is a unique self-co-op platformer that sees you switching between Gloomy, a curious zombie boy, and Nina, a determined human girl. Their world has been plunged into darkness ever since the sun took his leave, and now that zombies and humans have been pitted against each other, Gloomy and Nina are humanity's only hope for a world full of sunshine. You'll be solving platforming puzzles to clear each level, switching between Gloomy and Nina to reach the end. They each have special talents you'll need to progress further. By the time you make it to Chapter 4, you'll be hooked on this clever, creative adventure. It's also worth noting that this game is accessible for those with dexterity limitations. You can customize the keybinds to suit your needs, and the characters automatically complete distant jumps. It's not spooky at all, but I definitely consider it cute. Cabernet is a stunning, dark, and thoughtful RPG that allows you the freedom to decide exactly how your unlife should be. It's the perfect fall game because it offers both thrills and chills without actually traumatizing you. When Liza, an aspiring doctor, awakens after her funeral, it's to find that she is no longer human, but instead a creature of myth and legend. Inducted into vampire high society, Liza is swept into a world of intrigue, but she must keep her wits about her and learn whom to trust. This was one of my favorite games this year, and it's an absolutely fantastic choice for people who enjoy longer games where your choices genuinely matter. One of the most unique things about Cabernet is just how replayable it is. There are so many side quests that you can't do them all in a single save. It's easy to miss them if you aren't careful. Plus, the game's morality mechanic will lock you into or out of certain paths. If you like keeping track of your character's stats, everything you do as Liza will define her skills, interests, and overall moral outlook. Please check content warnings before playing this, as it's definitely aimed at more mature, cozy players. There are a couple of instances where players will have to move quickly in order to succeed at a mission, but other than that, everything is done through pointing, clicking, and weighing the best decisions for your playthrough. If you want autumnal vibes without zombies, vampires, or true crime twists, try Craft, a narrative-heavy RPG where you run your own fantasy merchant shop. You'll be forging custom blades, soothing infant eldritch horrors with one-of-a-kind commissions, and even taking apart broken objects to put them back together again. You can play as a humanoid cat, a moth, an elf, or a human, and choose from 3 unique backstories. Romance is something the game offers, but it's barely a footnote and doesn't really add or take away from the excellent adventure that is Craft. One word of caution, those with limited dexterity may be frustrated by the blade sharpening mechanic, but there's a way to disable it in settings. I personally struggled far more with blueprint mode, as it required precise hand movement, but my customers were always happy, even when I presented them with a literal pile of glued together scraps. The devs also added endless mode due to fan demand, so you can play it for as long as you like after the main storyline ends. When it comes to fall games, there are few I love more than the Detective Grimoire franchise, vaguely supernatural point-and-click puzzlers that demand way more brainpower than their creepy cute aesthetic would suggest. Tangle Tower is by far the most popular game in the series, and for good reason. When Freya Fellow, a 19-year-old artist, is found murdered in the tower of her family's estate, it's up to Detective Grimoire and his sharply sarcastic sidekick Sally to find out who done it. With a fully voice-acted cast of characters and puzzles that were both more challenging and yet somehow infinitely more rewarding than sitting through math class, the only thing bigger than Tangle Tower's mystery is its earnest heart. It never crosses the line into truly scary territory either, which makes it a fall treat that everyone can enjoy. If you really love Tangle Tower, I also highly recommend trying the previous game as well, Secret of the Swamp. The puzzles are way easier, but this is where you'll meet Sally, and the games are loosely connected by a common thread. Well, that's about it. Like and subscribe for more, and visit comfycozygaming.com.